Hi, my name is JayR Mendoza from Movement Society. You're now tuning in to Ambiance.
What's up, people? Welcome to Ambiance Podcast, episode 18. Joining me, I have JR to the left of me.
What's up, guys?
What's good, bro?
What's good, man?
Thank you so much for inviting me into your spot. I just was peeping you out on social media, and I really love what you're doing with Movement Society, and I think like a lot of people need to be put on it. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, what is Movement Society for everybody that doesn't know?
So basically, Movement Society is a platform that people could use to improve their movement and just improve their well-being. We are a collective of 4 coaches that provide information as far as exercise, as far as stress management, as far as nutrition goes, and as far as building better habits such as sleep and recovery. So cool. Movement Society is just that for people.
Mm-hmm. And what separates like Movement Society from all these other, I guess, fitness groups and fitness collectives?
We provide coaching. So
okay.
The difference between a coach and a trainer, right? A trainer could always train people for movements, and anyone could pretty much do that. I could tell you to squat and say, hey, a squat looks like this, and just tell you to do it. However, me and the guys, when we're training people, we also coach them.
Okay.
So we're guiding them through the movement. Hey, your back needs to be like this. We'll do touch. We'll use external cues. We'll actually guide them through the movement so they could be successful in the overall movement. Okay. And we focus on everything as a whole, like us in the crew. Like for example, if I'm assessing you, I'm not only looking at the overall movement, I'm also looking at each joint, Yeah. How's your ankle working? How's your hip working? How stable is your knee? Okay. So basically we're guiding you through the whole entire thing. Okay. Versus just teaching you how to move as one.
Okay, that makes sense. And it seems like you guys are really innovative too, like with your workouts and everything. So talk about that, because I think fitness in itself has grown so big, and now everybody's into it, and the type of workouts being done are just crazy innovative. So how have you seen that over the years, how innovative it's become?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think my first the way that I looked at the fitness world or the fitness industry when I first got introduced to it was the biggest person in the room was the one that knew it all, right?
Yeah.
And as years passed on, I started noticing people do things differently by swinging a kettlebell and using all different types of tools, which is really cool. Yeah. But the one thing that I started realizing, or noticing I should say, was how people started approaching things in a deeper level. So it wasn't only about lifting weights.
Right.
You weren't only training how to be a bodybuilder. You're now training people on how to be more functional.
Yeah.
How to train people to become better athletes. I don't know. There's some people that will come to me and just say, "Hey, I want to train so I'll be able to carry my child up overhead." You know what I mean? It's
some weird shit.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy, but the thing is, that's what I feel has changed in the fitness world. Is now we're getting introduced to different types of ways to improve a person's health.
Okay.
Not just be buff and the buff is the sexiest,
Yeah, that's how it used to be for so long, right?
Absolutely. It's the longest, the more that you spend time in the weight room, the more you know.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
Yeah, there's so much science behind it now, right?
Absolutely. And that's what kind of got me into becoming a trainer, was just the science behind it.
What's the science behind it?
Just the science, trying to understand the physiological effects of exercise. Learning about joint restoration.
Right.
You could be a bodybuilder and be super buff, but if you can't scratch your back,
what's the point? Yeah.
So now we started looking at things on how to take the word dysfunction out of fitness, right? So we
Right.
started putting function into fitness. So that's what me and the crew were all about. Like, we pretty much all went to college and pursued a degree in exercise science or kinesiology.
Where'd you go to school at?
I went to Cal State LA.
Cal State LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other guys also went to, like, basically colleges, Cal State University.
What made you like first get a spark of interest in fitness, like to where you wanted to get an education in that field?
Um, I think it was just through combat sports.
Oh, really?
I've always been into martial arts. I first started training boxing and Muay Thai.
Okay.
And then I got my butt kicked by someone that was like super in shape. And I was like, man, like, how can I be as quick as him? How can I be as strong as him?
That's dope. Cause
Like,
we were talking off camera. You're already talking about like how competitive you are as a person. So
yeah, man, super competitive. Like, I've always played sports. I've always been involved in some type of activity, and always wanted to be the alpha in the room. But there was always someone that was bigger, faster, stronger.
yeah, for
But
sure.
I think with competition, it gave birth to like me trying to find success.
Yeah, we were talking about this off camera too. How like starting any business or creative industry or like any type of collective out here is super competitive in LA, in Southern California, because there's so many people doing like kind of like the same thing, are trying to do the same thing that you're doing.
Right.
So yeah, being competitive is super important out here. If you're not competitive out here, like, you're not going to survive.
No, absolutely. I think being competitive is healthy. It has to be. You have to be competitive in a way where it's not malicious. Like, that's me. Like, when I look at someone, I'm looking at someone because they're inspiring me to be better. If you're a trainer and you're doing something that's working, and I look at you and I'm like, oh man, like, he's killing it.
Yeah.
I look at that as motivation. I would never be like, oh man, dude, this guy's killing it. I should give up.
Yeah.
Like, the way that I look at it is your mindset has to be right. Like, if you want to get into the next level, you got to have next level thinking.
That's very true.
Yep.
And to touch on that, like, having that type of mentality, like, just how important it is. What do you think about like nowadays, like in sports and kids growing up? Like, it seems like people are trying to demote competitiveness, right? They're giving trophies for like everyone gets a trophy. It seems like, not, I don't want to use the word soft, but
Yeah.
it seems like generations are starting to get softer. Like,
No, man. It's okay to use the word soft.
Okay.
Because I read this book. It's called Coddling the American Mind.
okay.
And it's a very interesting book. You should definitely read it. It talks about like how over the years people have gotten soft,
Yeah.
and it's true. Now we're rewarding people who aren't putting the effort in, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about effort. Like, how would you ever know how to how would you know your capacity if you've never reached it?
Yeah. And like you said, it's healthy. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not gonna, like, a lot of people aren't even keeping scores now, like leagues, like youth leagues and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's only gonna hurt the kids in the long run. Once they hit the
Yeah.
real world and they got to compete for jobs,
Yeah.
for whatever they're doing, like, they're not gonna know how to compete.
No, absolutely. And I think that's the same thing in the at the gym, right? Like, when I'm working with someone, I'm not gonna give someone a high five and just be like, "Oh, good job," when they're just like, you know what? That movement looks too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's for me, but you know what? Good job. Like,
Yeah, and you're doing them a disservice too.
Yeah.
Like, you're their trainer, you're supposed to want what's best for them.
yeah, like, my whole thing is I always tell people when they first meet me, like, I'm not going to be a drill sergeant. I'm not here to tell you to yell at you. I'm not going to force you to do anything, but I will challenge you. And if you're, we all know that personal training is a business.
Yeah.
So if someone's giving me money, I'm going to make sure that I give 110% of like what I'm here to do.
Yeah, you owe that to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And and that's the thing. I think having that role, you have to kind of find the fine line of when to push.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, hey, I know you could do it. We're going to try to test your capacity. And if you can't do it, we'll dumb it down a little bit. I shouldn't say dumb it down, but we'll knock it down a little bit, right?
Okay, yeah.
And basically, that's how you build. You always find a person's baseline, and you grow from there. And I think that's important, you know?
Yeah. And it's so like there's a whole nother side to training too. You got to know how to motivate somebody.
Yeah.
Right. One of my old coaches told me in football, he's like, if you have the power to motivate somebody, you'll never be out of a job.
Yeah.
Like it's such a valuable skill to have, and
Yeah.
to be a personal trainer, like you have to have that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to know there's a time and place, I believe, in motivating someone, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people just don't want to be like pushed all the time. You're also working with like all types of people.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone's different. Everybody's motivated in different ways too. So is that hard for you to like sometimes?
So that's the thing. You always got to find that emotional trigger, right?
Yeah.
Like what can motivate you could be different from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
What might motivate you is to get abs.
Yeah.
But this person just kind of wants to just lose a little bit of weight in their stomach.
Okay.
So I guess it all depends, right? So
that's super true, just because like some people are motivated better because like they need to get yelled at, for example, to be motivated.
Yeah.
Some people shy away from it. Some people, like, everybody works in a different way, so you have to really like know.
Not everyone wants to get yelled at. Like if I was to yell at you and you're not into that, you'd be like, man, why am I gonna come back?
Yeah.
This sucks.
Exactly.
Like, if I want to get yelled at, I'll just go to my mom or my dad. You know?
Yeah.
So that's
for
pretty
sure.
much like.
Okay. Well, going back to like movement society and like how innovative your guys' workouts are, like how important is it to switch up your workout and your fitness routines instead of like getting into like every Monday's chest day and I'm doing bench press and I'm doing all these same workouts?
Yeah. So that's something that's definitely important. Your body's smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
It knows how to adapt to an exercise.
Right.
However, I do believe in routine until you actually master that movement down. For example, if I had you in a split squat and
I don't think I could do
that. No, it's actually pretty easy.
Really?
But yeah, it's not too bad.
All right.
No, I mean if I had you do a split squat and you didn't master it in 2 weeks, I wouldn't progress you. I wouldn't change it until you got the whole mechanics down.
Okay.
So I'd rather have you be super technical than just have you push through the movement. So if your body hasn't mastered it, then your body hasn't really adapted to the actual movement.
Yeah, and that's important to like find a foundation to do it right, because like if you do, I see people like doing the wrong workouts and they're just like, I've done it like this forever. Like you could just do it like that forever, doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's all about training patterns. So like I said, your body's smart. You gotta program your body how to like move correctly in order for you to, you know, not get injured too. That's major. That's one of the goals of Movement Society when working with people is injury prevention is like one of our biggest things.
Yeah, it is important. Another thing too, I think with fitness and working out, like how important is it for your like state of mind and like just person in general?
For me or just for me.
Yeah, for you. Right.
So for me, like I'm constantly thinking. So it's like a very forward movement, right?
Yeah.
So if I hopped on the bike, a form of exercise, right? The pedals are moving forward, and it just kind of unwinds what my thought process is. And sometimes when I have anxiety, and I'm like, oh man, I'm having anxiety, I'm gonna go and lift. It just kind of helps reduce that. Yeah.
It's like therapy, right?
It's definitely therapy. There's nothing more nothing feels better than, you know, you think about your problems. You're like, man, these problems feel heavy in my heart right now.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? I'm lifting weights and I'm like thinking like, hey, these are my problems. I'm just gonna push it out. I'm gonna bang it out. I'm not gonna think about anything. And that's that.
It's like kind of nothing else matters, huh? You get that Zen mode.
Absolutely, because with all my clients, I tell them no matter what you're going through, when you go in through these doors, nothing else matters.
That's dope.
And it doesn't matter how famous you are, how much money you make. It doesn't matter. as long as you're in here, you're gonna work, and you're gonna work you're gonna work your shit out,
Yeah.
and we're gonna make shit happen, because at the end of the day, this is this is your time,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. There's something about working out that just helps the soul, man. It just has you feeling better, knowing that you couldn't do that before and you did it. It's like, wow, like if I could do that, I could do anything outside of these walls.
Yeah.
Not to get too crazy deep, you know. I think about stuff like that. It's like, if I could do this, I could do anything.
No, that's how it should be. Yeah. Like and it's like a ripple effect. Like you conquer one thing, like one of your goals that you have, it just makes everything else seem more conquerable.
Absolutely, right? Man.
Yeah. So you got to take those risks. But going back, let's digress a little bit to like how you found your passion for fitness and everything. So when you said you were going to college and you were studying. What were you studying?
I was studying. I was in college. I was working on my undergrad in exercise science, and I was trying to pursue a career in physical therapy. I started working at little clinics, and I also worked at USC Keck and volunteered for physical therapy, like just working as an aide or just helping the PTs out.
Right.
But the one thing that I noticed, no disrespect to PTs, because, you know, I know a lot of PTs, I work with a lot of PTs as well. But for me, I just didn't want to be in a place where I would be working with people that didn't really want to be there, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine being injured, you're going to see your physical therapist and they're just going to push you to work out, right?
Yeah.
Or just move a certain way that they're like, oh, well.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So I kind of was thinking to myself, like, why not work on preventative care? And the way that I could do that was through just training people how to become stronger, how to build better joints. Basically joint restoration, increasing person's range of motion, you know, breaking. Yeah, that's how I looked at it, and from there I pretty much went off.
That's really interesting to think about if you like put it in that perspective, because all of your clients are there because they want to be there. You know, you're not forcing any of them. You're not holding a gun to their head to like come to your sessions. I hope not. But
No, man, no. But I'm very fortunate enough to like have people that want to be there. I think it's been a blessing to find clients or connect with people and just have them look at the space as a place to get away, you know?
Yeah.
And once they get away from the reality and they're there, we pretty much attack what their wants and needs are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So as somebody who's listening out there right now who wants to get into shape and they don't know where to start, like how to start, what is the biggest key for them? Like what would you suggest that they start doing?
Definitely work on your cardiovascular health. That's definitely one of the biggest things that I'm big on. Another thing is have a healthy relationship with food. Yeah. Definitely know what's good and what's bad for you. And if you're not educated on that, you could definitely hit me up. I mean, sure. I'm more than happy to help out. I always tell my clients, like, don't follow a specific diet because the word die is in it. You know?
Yeah.
Like I said, build
what's the like meaning behind that?
Just because like there's no one diet that like is suitable for everyone.
That's true.
Right?
And if you think about it, like what everybody was told, like we still go base like the nutritional values off some study that was done in the like 1950, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like I was watching a documentary on Netflix and like, do you know the daily value percentage of like what you need?
Yeah.
Like that was like based off a study that was done in like the 50s.
Oh, it's
and
crazy.
It's kind of hard. Like I wanted to touch on that too, because there's like so many diets out there.
Yeah.
Like, and there's always new ones coming up. And it's just like, which one do you believe is like the right one?
Honestly, like I can't really give you that answer. Like for me, like I mean, we know your proteins, your vegetables, and like good carbs are good for you. But as far as what is the best diet,
Yeah.
I would definitely reach out to like a nutritionist and see what would be suitable for that individual. So that's another thing. Like as a trainer, I could only advise a person how to eat. Like I could give you advice on how to eat, but I can't tell you what to eat.
Okay.
So like that's the thing that I think a lot of trainers do is they'll tell a person how to eat, but we can't really do that. That's like out of our scope of practice. You
That's
know?
not your niche. Yeah.
No, that would be like a dietitian or a nutritionist.
True. It's
Yeah.
like going to like a dentist and ask them for like advice about your eyes or something.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Or if like someone tells me like, oh man, I got like back pain and it hurts right here. Can you help me take it out? And it's like, I can't touch you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a manual therapist. I'm not a masseuse.
True.
Like, so that's the thing. I try to stay in my lane and I try to do the best I can through movement.
Just direct them where to go about it,
Yeah,
rather than.
I could direct you. I could reach out to my resources. I mean, like I work with a bunch of people that are physical therapists, like I said, manual therapists. I could reach out to doctors, or I like what I like to do is I also like to work with my clients' doctors,
Oh yeah.
and from there, like we could build a solid program for that person. So
That's cool because like you're not saying like screw off, I don't know like how this works, like I still want to help you get like what you're asking
Yeah.
for, but like I'm not the right person to do it. That's dope.
yeah, man, I think that's the most important thing too, is like really personalizing a program for the individual rather than just giving someone a cookie cutter workout.
Yeah, and it seems like with diets, people are like so like combative. It's like some gang shit. Like people like keto, like keto is the way to go. Like whatever you're doing is wrong. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, like I don't know, man. Like I see keto work, but like for me, right? I'm Filipino. If you
Yeah.
told me to go keto, I go nuts. You know, I grew up on rice, right?
Yeah.
And like it's like how can I pretty much change my DNA? Like I don't know. Like I grew up eating rice, man.
Yeah.
And like going keto is gonna definitely like it's gonna work because I'm gonna cut my carbs and the only thing I have is protein and veggies. But is it sustainable? Can I
Yeah.
live my entire life just being keto? No.
Do you think that's one of the biggest keys in staying fit, like in staying in shape? Because we just talked about like what you need to do to get into shape, but like
Right.
to stay into shape, do you think like finding something that's sustainable for you is the best way to stay in shape?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a good thing to like I said, having a healthy relationship with food, right? And looking at workouts or working out as a part of your day to day versus an obligation.
Yeah.
Those are like key points on how to like, you know, definitely stay in shape. Because the moment that you start feeling like working out is an obligation, you start stressing. You
Yeah.
know?
I've been there.
And then now you just feel like, oh man, like I don't want to work out. And then once you start getting in that mindset, then everything else kind of falls in that direction. Even your eating. You're
True.
like, oh, like, you know, I'd rather go get hamburgers and work out today. Because you know what, working out is hard. You know, like you should definitely look at working out as a routine. It's part of your day to day, and also like have a healthy relationship with food.
Right.
You have your healthy basket and you have your bad basket, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously your healthy basket's gonna be a lot bigger than the bad basket, and throughout the week keep filling out that basket. And then if the bad basket goes and fills up, you got to just focus on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So making your workouts like fun is important too, right? 'Cause-
Absolutely, man. Well, that's the thing too. The workouts itself, it could be fun and it could be pretty hard. I mean,
Challenging.
Yeah, but the thing that you got to do is you got to, like I said, it's like personal training it's really about like building a relationship with your client.
Yeah.
And if they trust you, they're gonna really go full on and just do it. And the way that they'll make it fun is when they start seeing like their numbers go up.
They start seeing the results.
Yeah, it's like, oh crap, like I never knew I was able to like deadlift 100 pounds more, or no, that's absurd. Like 10 pounds more than I did last week, or 5 pounds more than I did last week. So it could be fun. I mean, definitely, like, I mean, if you see something improve, like if you were like, I don't know, if you were a basketball player and you scored 16 points, but next week you scored 25,
Yeah.
wouldn't that make you excited, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, I think that's what makes it fun, is you kind of have to let your clients see it as a competition within themselves,
Yeah.
right? How well are you going to do in 2 weeks?
So you're not competing with anybody else. You're competing
No.
against yourself to be better.
Absolutely. It's all about developing a better human being, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how can you be better for yourself?
Be
Yeah.
better than the person you were yesterday.
Absolutely.
Dope. Yeah. So, how about like the saturation part of like fitness? There's so many people that are doing it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that? Like, just like, do you see? No, let me rephrase that. Do you see like trainers like putting like not necessarily wrong information out into the world, but like just kind of like, does it irk you when you see shit like that?
No, I actually think it's a good thing, because how that's going is if they're going to be successful at it, they're going to be successful at it.
Yeah.
But the truth always comes out.
True.
And I actually thrive off of how our fitness industry is going. So it's like, the turnover rate as far as trainers go is very, very high.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. And the people that are in it to win it are going to be in it to win it. No matter how much the industry changes, I'm going to be in there winning it, because I'm always hungry, man. I'm always hungry. My team is hungry. We're always trying to do research and development, and we're always studying what's good out there, what's new. And I think that's what kind of helps movement society like go with the times,
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes us so innovative, is we stay up to date, but we extract. So we take in what's good and we extract what's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many years of experience do you have in the fitness industry?
Like I said, it's so crazy, because I could say years, right? Because training friends, family, etc. But that wasn't really my route, because I was so focused on becoming a physical therapist and trying to do that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going on 5.
On
right?
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I added everything together, it's probably much more than that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've just been a geek about it for so many years.
That's dope.
Studying movements and studying how people move. Like, I mean, that was part of like my whole entire undergrad. Like,
Yeah.
just movement.
Was there did you ever want to do anything else like before it?
Nah.
Nothing else?
I mean, my parents tried forcing me to be a nurse. I mean,
Oh, really?
That's
That's big in for Filipinos, right?
Yeah,
like,
man.
everyone...
I was just like, oh, man, here we go again. We're going to be a nurse. But I was like, nah, that's not for me. I can't be a nurse, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's your life. You're going to want to go in the direction you want.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to nurses. I mean, shout out to like nurses.
Shit, what would we do without them? Like,
absolutely. I mean, it's a great job. It offers amazing things as far as like the perks of just having to work 3 days, etc. But I like being a PT, man.
Yeah.
I like being a coach. I like seeing my clients like be successful and getting their goals.
So you have a passion for like getting them results too?
Yeah, absolutely. I just have a passion in the whole line of service. Like, I like helping people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simple enough. We talked about it earlier, just about like how you were doing physical therapy, right?
Right.
And then was that when you realized that you wanted to like pursue what you're doing now? Like, what point did you realize that like, shit, I want to do this for a living, I want to do this for like forever?
Yeah, I was pursuing physical therapy, and one day I was just training jiu-jitsu, and my coach at that time, his name was Jason. Him and I we were talking, and he's not only is he a jiu-jitsu coach, but he's also a personal trainer.
Okay.
And he straight up went up to me. He was like, how's school, whatever? And I was like, oh, it's going well. I just wrapped up my volunteer work trying to get into grad school. And he was like, man, I think you would be a great PT. Like, you pretty much know your stuff. um, you have, you know, you have good social skills, and I think you could be really good at it. um, so from there I was like, you know what, like, why wouldn't I just give it a shot?
Okay.
And so I gave it a shot, and soon enough I got a job at a corporate gym. It's called Equinox.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, and then from there it gave birth to personal training.
And then the rest is history. Where we're here now.
Yeah, the rest is history.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you form like these relationships with the clients that you have now? Because a lot of your clients are artists and are in like a lot of creative industries. So how did you form these relationships with them?
Um, I think it all started with my time at Equinox. Excuse me.
Okay.
Um, I was working with a stylist who had a friend that was in the creative world, and from there it was just pretty much a domino effect. I mean, when I was working at that corporate gym, I also had clients that were in the entertainment business. So they pretty much just believed in my work, and from there it just was word of mouth.
Yeah. And if what you do works, like people notice, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's kind of like how it works. So when I work on my clients, they're my walking billboards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
So when you get the results, you're a representation of me.
That's true.
So when people walk out that door and they're feeling confident, or they're getting compliments with how they look,
Yeah.
it always comes back to me. It's like, hey, my friend wants to get in shape. Like, do you have any openings? And I don't know. It kind of worked out.
Yeah. And that's your payoff, right? Like people telling you like,
Yeah.
this works. Like this
Yeah,
is,
absolutely. And I think that, like, once I had my first major creative person on my roster, it kind of gave birth to people within that world.
yeah.
Because a lot of people in the music industry or in management or even DJs, like, that's a world where it's like super busy.
Yeah.
Schedules are crazy hectic, and their health just declines because we all know, like, that world involves drinking, partying,
Eating bad.
eating
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, and those were the people that need it most. And once we got one of my first creatives in shape, everyone just kind of started calling.
Do you have to deal with that with like artists going on tour? Like, do you give them plans, like workout plans while they're on tour and things
Yes,
like that?
I mean, I do, but does it work? Not all the time.
Yeah.
It's so stressful for a lot of artists and a lot of DJs to stick to a plan, and it's just kind of the nature of it.
Yeah.
If you're on the road, you don't really have access to healthy food. Sometimes if you're in a tour bus, you don't have access to the gym. You're always on the road.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Mhm.
I do always try to provide workouts that they could do if they don't have access to the gym. Or I always will tell them, like, hey, if you don't have access to anything, at least go for a walk,
Yeah.
or do something.
Doing something that's like manageable, right?
Yeah, do something that's like easily accessible. So if you're local to a park, go walk in a park.
Yeah.
But if you're not able to do that because of time constraints, like, I also understand.
Right.
You know.
Okay. With all these creatives that you work with, do you find that that type of clientele is more open-minded to doing these innovative workouts that that Movement Society has versus just like somebody who's maybe like a 9 to 5 job? Does that play into it at all?
They're definitely open to it, but I think anyone is open to it. But as far as innovating an exercise, it has to make sense before you can even introduce it to them.
Okay.
Like, I'm the type of person where, like, if someone says, hey, I saw this on Instagram and it looked really cool, can we try to do it? I always will tell myself, like, hey, is it Is it something that you need, or
Is
it
it
just
serving
kind of
you?
looks cool?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Like, not everything that looks cool on Instagram works, you know?
100%.
Yeah,
People do some pretty outlandish shit
yeah,
on the gram.
man. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that movement society is trying to do. I think we're trying to do something where it makes sense, where it's like the stuff that we provide for our clients or for the people makes sense. It's, yeah, it might not be the sexiest looking thing,
Yeah.
but it works. So I'm not just gonna have you hop around and make you feel like you're gonna burn X amount of calories when all it's gonna do is injure you,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you don't have the capacity to jump around because your ankles are like, I don't know. I guess you don't have the like capability of landing properly or
Yeah. There's
all
so
that
much that
stuff.
goes into it, right?
Yeah, there's so
It's
much.
not that easy.
No, yeah, it's like your landing mechanics. Like, how is it? Or like, I don't know. It's just so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like with social media and like how prominent it is nowadays, like it's dangerous sometimes because people can be putting out the wrong information through their platform,
Right.
and like they could have like 300,000 400,000 followers, whatever they have, right? And
Yeah.
like since they have that, people think it's validation. Like it could be what they're putting out is wrong, but since they have like a large following, like it's
Yeah.
dangerous.
I think that's what's crazy, right? Just based on how many followers you have, it's kind of crazy because like we're talking about like the person that's in the weight room the longest is the most knowledgeable one,
Yeah, yeah.
but in social media, it's like the person that has the most followers is the more experienced one.
It's crazy.
And I think me and the guys, like, we thrive off of that because we're like, yeah, we don't have a lot of followers, but we're seeing more success with the people that we work with.
Yeah, like look at the quality of your clients, you know?
Yeah, it's all about the quality. I don't like, we're not doing this for the clout. We're doing it because we love it. And I'm very fortunate and blessed to be working with a bunch of creatives, but I'm also working with people that have 9 to 5 jobs.
Yeah.
I'm working with attorneys. I'm working with maybe a teacher.
Wow, so it's super diverse.
Yeah, it's super diverse. Like, I like, that's what the crew is about. We want to just build a community of people that are wanting to take their health to the next level. We don't just solely focus on the creatives, but we're very fortunate enough that the creatives are looking into what we're doing as a platform that they could use.
Yeah. What are some of the more notable creatives like that are some of your clients that you're comfortable with mentioning?
DJ Nudes. She's definitely up there.
Shout out to Nudes.
Shout out to Nudes. Super duper Kyle Harvey. He is killing it, man. He's a good light for a lot of the kids out there. And I love what he's doing. And wow, I'm like
drawing blanks.
Yeah, man. Oh, sorry guys if you guys see this and I don't mention your name. Well, basically all my clients are pretty like out there, so it's really cool. I'm very blessed to know them, and I'm just super thankful.
That's cool because they're in industries too that you're probably like you enjoy as well.
Yeah, man. I'm a big fan of all of them, and like I said, I'm just super blessed because at the end of the day, like, no matter what their status is, they are human.
Yeah.
And behind closed doors, behind all the lights, it's very awesome to know that we could have conversations about just real life stuff.
So because they're actually your friends too, right?
Yeah, and that's why, like, I look forward to working 12-hour days sometimes, or 10-hour days, because when I see them, it's like a catch up on what's going on with them and what's going on. But we're not even talking about the money. We're not even talking about anything else. Sometimes we're just talking about real life stuff, Yeah. And that's the beauty of like my job. It's like, I'm not just looking at you as a paycheck. I'm looking at you as a human being. You have emotions, and there's things that I could relate to, and there's things that I could share with you that I've gone through, similar to whatever anyone's going through. You know what I mean?
it's got to be inspiring for you too to see them killing it, and it's just like,
Oh yeah,
right?
man.
With so much success around you, like it makes you want to succeed way more.
Yeah, man. When like when they're winning, I'm definitely winning. Like, and it's crazy because if they'll post something about like, oh, just booked Vegas for 3 months, or just performed at like A, B, and C. Like, I'll post about it and just share their success because I want to build awareness to people like who follow them. I mean, it helps me too. It's just like, I don't know. Like the saying goes, like, surround yourself with people that want to win.
Yeah.
And everyone that I'm around seems to want to win, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely motivates me for sure.
It's important for your growth too, like when you surround yourself with people like that.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like, failing's not an option for me,
Yeah. My phone's whacking. My phone's going crazy, bro. Jesus. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. But it's crazy how, like, as like humans, like in just our society, how we like idolize people, and then when you meet them, like they're just like normal people, but like before you meet them, like you're just kind of intimidated on, like, just because of who they are.
Yeah.
And I realized that just by like playing football, or like when I was a kid, like these like pro athletes used to seem like superstars, like heroes, like so untouchable. And then as I grew older, like I played college football, and like a lot of my good friends are in the NFL and like are in different like pro sports leagues. So it's like it really like humanizes it. It's just like, damn, like when I was a kid, I used to think that you were like untouchable. Now it's just like these people are my friends.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's crazy because like I'm a fan of them, like I said, and it's just really cool to just kind of share like the same wavelength as them when I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
And it's really dope.
And it makes it, for me at least, it makes it seem like your goals are so much more achievable because you have this personal relationship with somebody who's like doing all this dope shit, and it's just like, damn, if he can do it and I know him, like why can't I do what I want to do, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I see my clients kill it, I'm like, you know what, if they're killing it, I'm gonna drive just as hard and kill it in my world, Yeah.
What advice would you have for somebody out there who's looking to get into PT, or is looking to like take their fitness game to the next level, like and like get involved in the fitness industry professionally?
You gotta have tenacity, man. You can't just give up. I mean, there's hard days. I mean, when you first start off, it's a grind. There's days where you're not gonna want to be at work.
Yeah.
There's days where you get tested. I mean, like when I first started off, like I didn't just have a bunch of clients fall in my lap. Like I had to work hard for it. I remember taking a picture of my first paycheck, and it was from Equinox too, and it was like about $200, and I was like, what the heck, like $200, like in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Like, wow, like I'm here living in Los Angeles. How am I gonna survive off of $200? So I took a picture of that, and I told myself, you know what, like this can't happen again. I can't get this paycheck. Like I need to find a way to like double that up. So my advice to people that are starting up is don't let your first paycheck deceive you. Keep pushing through. You have to have a killer mindset, and I think that's with anything that you do. If you really do have a passion for it, drive forward. Let that passion drive your success. Don't let you failing be an option, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
When you get people that say no to you, take it as a win or take it as a learning tool.
There are no losses, right?
No losses. So if a person says no to you, all right, cool. It might just be a blessing, because if you said yes to me, there might be some weird vibes between us anyways.
Yeah.
Like, it has to work. Personal training is a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't work, that relationship is going to end.
Yeah.
quick. So just keep at it. Don't give up.
Hell yeah, we don't take L's.
Nah, no L's, man.
No L's. So yeah, patience, like,
Yeah.
and because a lot of people that like want to start something, they get so happy at first and they get so interested, and if they don't see those instant results, then they quit, right? So
Yeah. And that's another thing too, is like they'll quit. I remember like my managers told me like, "Hey, you're so mellow. Like you'll never thrive in this business." And I was like,
why?
because like I guess the whole thing was you got to be giddy, you got to be super
Oh,
energetic.
like, okay, I see what
And
you're
I'm
saying.
just like, all right, whatever. There's a time and place in being energetic, and there's a time and place to be mellow. I choose to be mellow because I'm not gonna be out there trying to be fake.
Yeah, it's fake energy, right?
Nah, I'm all about just being myself, and I think that's the way that people like relate to me. Um, and I think that's the way that you handle things when you meet someone of whatever status. Like, let's say you're a Travis Scott. Just because you're a Travis Scott, I'm not gonna go crazy
Like
and just be
fanboy
like,
out.
"Oh shoot, you're Travis Scott, and I'm gonna train you." Like,
Yeah.
it's not me, man. I'm gonna be like, "All right, Travis, we're gonna do A, B, and C, and this is how we get to A, B, and C."
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because this is my job. You gotta take it seriously.
Yeah.
You gotta know when to filter things out. You could be a fan, but there's a time and place for that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You can't be fanboying out. They're not gonna want to work with you if you're like that type of
Nah.
person either, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because when you become a fanboy, or you just show them that you're a fanboy, now they're just gonna feel like you're doing it for the clout, or
Yeah.
you're expecting something from them, and that's not how it should be.
It's hard, man, out here just because people will use you like insane. Where we're from in LA, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a dog eat dog world. People like,
It is, man, and I think that's the thing, man. Like, it sucks. The way that my clients work hard to get to where they're at, they need support.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people out here expect freebies, expect hookups. But it's like, hey, man, like sometimes you gotta pay,
yeah,
and you know what? You gotta support your artists.
100%.
You
Yeah.
don't want artists to be like you don't want them to be a striving artist. You want them to be successful. They have to feed their families too.
Yeah.
The same way I have to feed my family, right? So if someone goes, hey, like I've known you for X amount of years, can you hook me up with some training? It's like, all right, well, my rate is X amount. Like, are you gonna want to train now? And they're like, oh no, like I thought this was a hookup.
Damn.
No, but you always gotta support. That's
Yeah.
how I always look at it. You always gotta support. You can't ask for freebies, and
Yeah.
no matter who you work with, support them.
And if you're a real friend, like you would pay the ticket price, or you'd pay whatever it is that they're like servicing or whatever they're doing, right? Because
Yeah.
real friends do that. Like, they don't.
You
hit
gotta
you-
pay. You gotta pay, man. Like if
Yeah.
you're doing something and that's your hustle, I wouldn't expect a hookup.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to just hook me up for free. Like, because if you hook me up for free, then you create a culture of giving free things away.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, let's digress a little bit. We're almost done here, but I had a few more questions.
Sure.
What's next for Movement Society? Like, what plans do you guys have in the near to late future?
So we definitely have collaborated with Undefeated.
So dope.
Yeah, we have a gym that we're using. It's UACTP, that is owned by so the bigger entity is Undefeated. They own it, and we're gonna do our next workout there, group workout, at the end of this month, and we'll definitely do more events over there. We're also looking to collaborate with other brands. Can't really talk about who just yet, but we always post it on our social. I always post it on mine and my story.
Where can
And
people find you on social?
so my social is movement underscore wow movement underscore LA, and then the crew is Movement Society.
Okay.
And then you could also check out our website, which I'm very proud of. You should
I
check it
checked it
out.
out, dude. I peeped it.
Yeah.
It shit's hard.
Yeah, movementsocietyco.com. And yeah, there's our list of services there, and yeah, man, we'll definitely post about events coming up, but we definitely have a series of events that people could access. So
Pretty exciting stuff happening.
pretty exciting stuff. Very blessed, like I said, and just yeah, super thankful.
Yeah, and Movement Society started like this year, you said, right?
Yeah, it started this year. It's so crazy. Originally, it was just me and George that were trying to give birth to this idea, and then Carl, one of my business partners and trainer, he, you know, decided to hop on with me and create this thing, which wasn't even called Movement Society. We didn't know what we were called, and we ended up training our first group, which was Soul Action.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Soul
Shout out to
Action,
Soul Action,
my boy
man.
Joe K.
Hell yeah, Andres,
Yeah,
okay, all them.
hell yeah. So yeah, that was our first like actual gig as far as working with a group.
How did that connection form?
So it's kind of crazy. I met Joe K from Soul Action when he used to go to Equinox in Pasadena. I think he still goes there. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But we crossed paths. It wasn't even on some training tip. I was just like, oh, like I don't know. I forget. Like he was opening the door, I was opening the door, and then we just caught a conversation, and we were talking about kids because he has a kid and I got a kid.
Right.
Excuse me. And we were just talking about that, and we just kind of connected, and from there, sorry, excuse me.
No, you're good.
We kept in touch. He checked out the space that I worked at, and then my friend Carl ended up training him for a little bit at Equinox Pasadena.
Okay.
And then yeah, and then the rest was history. We were put in a thread. We started talking about a group workout, and boom, it happened.
That's cool, man, because they're like so innovative, and Movement Society it's like a perfect fit. Like,
Oh yeah, man. And I mean, look at Joe K now, you know.
Yeah, his fitness journey has been dope to see. Like I've been seeing him like grinding with his shit.
I mean, man, you'll catch that boy posting, and he's like at the gym. I'm like, you go to a different country, but you're at a different gym every time.
Still getting that
But
work in.
he's like focused on it, and that's like, I think he's a perfect example of an artist who puts his health as a priority. You know,
dope, yeah.
that's something that I like. That's a goal of mine, to like have some of my artists look at it like that.
Yeah.
You know, now it's not even like an obligation for him. It's just part of his life.
It's his routine.
Yeah, but and that's the thing too, is like I tell people, like the power of your health can take you so far. It's also the fountain of youth, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, with going back to Movement Society, you said you got some exciting things coming in the near future, right? Is the fact that you guys started like this year and it's already like you've seen so much success from it already, isn't it like inspiring you for like if this much happened in this short amount of time, imagine like what's ahead?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy. You know, we launched our online training, which has been booming. So people that are not living in California are now accessing us. Even athletes that are in the East Coast, it doesn't matter where you're from, they could access us, and that's been like major growth.
Yeah.
But next year we're just gonna go on a tear, because you know we've done a lot of, you know, we've been doing a lot of research and development, seeing what works and what doesn't, and you know, just getting better through time, you know.
How did you guys come up with the name Movement Society?
Oh man, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting question, because we were we were having a meeting, me and the guys. We were at a Mexican restaurant in Hollywood, and we were like meeting for something. I forget. I think it was just to kind of come up with some type of name, and we were like, oh man, this is so stressful. We don't know what to be called. Like everything that we're looking at is taken, and we were just talking about like a few things, and I was like, And I told the guys, I was like, what are we about? What is the thing that we do?
Yeah.
And we were talking about like, yeah, like we teach people about movement.
True.
And I was like, great, let's use that word and let's add something else. And I was like, what are we trying to do? You know, why do we do what we do? And, you know, the guys and I both agree that we're in this because we want to create impact. You know, we want to inspire people in our community to be able to like see the power of health through our platform. So we thought about the word society, so society as a whole, building.
Creating like a community of these type of people.
And that's how it came about. We put the two words together, and movement society was then we basically gave birth to that name, and the rest was history.
That's dope. That's so important too, like with having a brand, like not just to have the name, but there's a meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Like it's so awesome. That's what I did with Ambiance, like,
Oh, nice.
because Ambiance is like defined as like the feeling and atmosphere of a place, right? Like
Yeah.
just what's the ambiance of like this room, right? And then
Yeah.
that's why my logo, I have like a positive symbol in it,
Yeah.
because like all my guests I have on like you are promoting like positivity and health and wellness. So it's like positive vibes, positive ambiance, like.
Oh man, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Man. Just spreading that type of energy, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think that's what like helps drive your business.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, just like I said, it's that's how we came up with the name, and you know, it's been working, and it's really awesome to see our audience grow.
Yeah.
It's really awesome to see people kind of look at what we're doing as something that they could put into their day-to-day, which is a blessing.
Yeah, it's dope, man. It's dope to see. Like, I'm excited to continue to see your journey and your guys' journey. I'm like, I fuck with your guys' stuff. So.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
appreciate that. We really do.
Mm-hmm. Is there any last message you want to put out into the world? Any last thing you want to say?
Just check out our website, movementsocietyco.com. We are now accepting applications. So if you guys can't access us through one-on-one, you could definitely access our online training protocol.
That's dope.
We definitely engage with our clients there. We have a chat box, so we're always constantly communicating with our clients. And yeah, we provide all the tools to, to make you successful in attaining your goals. And let's see, just pretty much check us out.
Yeah, I love it. All right, man, I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
JayR, it's a wrap.
Appreciate it.